everyone to our second episode of The Ripple Effect. So we started this podcast with the intention for it to be a great resource for visitors and local residents alike so that you can get all your info about Kentucky Lake, whether it's educational, inspirational, or informational. We're going to talk about a lot of topics over the course of this podcast, but today is all about fishing. So we're going to do some real talk, R-E-E-L, and we're very excited to have a special guest with us today, Mr. Jason Sealock. Welcome.
Glad to be here.
Thank you. Yeah, we're excited. So, Jason, we have had a relationship for probably about a year and a half, you think, as far as fishing and content and really helping us sort of bolster our information and educational content on our website.
Yes.
So, which we are very excited about, very grateful for. It's been a big hit. We really were able to kind of watch and see how people get on those blog posts and the articles that you've written for us to read and talk about the fishery. So let's kind of break that down a little bit. But before we do that, first off, can you just maybe tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, who you are, kind of how this came to be?
Sure. So, so I moved here in 2005 to work for what was then FLW's, now
Okay.
Major League Fishing. So they brought me in to work on the magazines and do a little bit of website work. Eventually I became the editor of the magazines. So I ran the magazine group, kind of the person that started their Facebook page and their social media, because that was all just getting going
Yeah.
when I was there. So did that from 2005 to 2010. 2010, I left to join the startup Wired to Fish, and so I worked for Wired to Fish for 14 years. Ran that, was the publisher and COO there, so built that into one of the largest media properties in the outdoors. And then left when they got bought out by a capital equity group
Okay.
in 2024, and decided I wanted to kind of go do my own thing then.
Yeah.
So left there, and I've been doing that since. Partnered with you because we wanted to kind of elevate the I guess what people know about the fishing here. We have so many people that come here. There's so many different things to fish for and so many different seasons to fish. We felt like it can be overwhelming because it's such a large fishery. So we wanted to help people have success when they come here. And your vacations when your vacation is. You're here visiting when you're here visiting. What good bite can you actually get on? So we kind of came up with the idea to build that calendar out.
Yes.
And I enjoyed doing that. I'm a huge proponent of the lake. It's one of my passion projects that I want more people to know about Kentucky Lake and know how good the fishing is and how unique the fishing is here. It's not very many places in the country you can go and have so many different types of fish and it be exceptional fishing for all of them. So so I have always kind of felt like this was a underdeveloped resource in our backyard, right? So there's a lot of good fisheries along the Tennessee River, but we're unique from a lot of those. So I feel like we still need to get the word out about what there is here.
So when people go to our website now, they go to the fishing tab, and it's kind of broken down, like you said, the fishing calendar. So, I mean, you spent pretty much an entire year, really getting out on the water. And I mean, really, honestly, you've been doing it way longer than a year. But for us specifically, it took about a year to build the calendar out for us online. And so when people click on a month, kind of what's a little bit that they're going to see when they click on that month on our website?
Yeah, so we tried to do it, what's the best bite month to month. So when I say best bite, like what is the fish and the presentation that people can expect to see when they come to the lake that month. So like if they clicked on July right now, I think we talk about night fishing a lot for bass. That's one of the best bites is if you'll switch from going to the daytime to the nighttime. It's a lot easier to catch fish, I feel like, and it's a lot more comfortable.
Yeah.
But that's one of the good bites. Catfish is also a good bite. So we kind of highlight, this is what we think the best bite is. These are some other good bites. White bass are school, and you can get on schools of those this time of year. So we do that month to month. It's like, when crappie's the best bite in the spring, we'll tell you kind of where they're going to be, where you can expect to find them, the ways you can catch them. and then as well as some other bites that are good at that same time. So.
Yeah, so it's I mean, it's such a useful tool for the average angler, recreational angler. You know, really, and we want it to be utilized by as many people as possible. So, you know, when it comes to the fishery, what is one of the common misconceptions that you think are around Kentucky Lake and the fishery?
Well, of course, we had a downturn, you know, several years back, which everyone blamed on the carp, and honestly, it really had nothing to do with the carp. The carp was a compounding factor, I guess you could call it. It did affect bait fish for a couple years, but it really didn't have an effect on the fish. It was what we went through with the flooding for so many years in a row. And what people don't realize is like a largemouth bass, it takes 4.5 years for them to get to 15 inches, which is the keeper size.
Okay.
And so what you don't realize is like you have flooding, say like back in 14, 15, a little earlier than that. Well, you're not going to see the results of that till like 18, 19, 20, which is what we saw. Like 18 is when the fishing really started to take a big decline. And because of that, you know, we got a lot of bad press during that time, right? So but now we're on this what I consider, you know, fishing cyclical. So like early 2000s was like a boom period for fishing here. Like 2005 to 2010 was like some of the best fishing ever. 2010 to 2017, there was probably, I would say there was not as big a schools of fish, but there were so many big fish in the system. And so part of what I think is a misconception now is that was some of the best fishing there's ever been on Kentucky Lake in that like 2010 to 2017 period.
Oh, I remember. They called it the heyday.
Yeah, right. And there was a heyday in the 90s. Yeah. So, and I say that to say, like, you know, we had a boom period in the late 90s. We had a boom period like that 2010 range. We're kind of at the bottom of another boom period, I feel. You know, so people, the lake is back. What I've seen a couple people make, like a guy made a video about, well, you know, Kentucky Lake's not back. Is it ever going to be those two boom periods? That I can't answer, right?
Yeah.
Like, but we are.
That's up to Mother Nature.
Right.
Legendary waters await Kentucky Lake.
So I am curious, in your opinion, do you think Kentucky Lake is going to see another golden era as before, like the early 90s, early 2000s?
I do. I think it's going to be different. So, and the reason I say that is because the common denominator with the 90s boom and the like 2010 boom was there was grass in the system. And so, like in the 90s, there was grass from the dam down past Paris, and it was in every bay.
Oh, wow.
And so, when I first moved here in 2005, there was grass in most of the bays still.
Okay.
And so, and then like 2010, when we were having that boom period, most of the grass was on the main lake. There wasn't much grass in the bays at that time. But we did have a lot of grass on the main lake. And the reason grass is such a big contributor there is that helps with recruitment. So when the fish spawn, they can go bury themselves up in the grass and not get eaten. And so you have much better spawn classes when there's just a lot of cover in the water. And so then that's another contributing factor. So there's a natural erosion that happens with every lakes. All the lakes in the country go through that. So one of the things that's affected us is there used to be willow bushes out to the winter pool line, which is 354 here. And so now most of the bushes are at that 359 line. And so until we get to full pool, we don't have a lot of cover in the water for the fish to go get in. The problem is our fish want to spawn, like our crappie spawn in March and April, our bass spawn in April and May. We're not always to full pool when the bass are spawning, so there's not a lot of cover in the water. And so that's another factor that, you know, will it be as good as it was, you know, in 2010? Probably not, because the fisheries, the ecosystem is different than it was.
Yeah.
But I do believe we're in a boom period because we've had so many good spawns. And so we want to pile up as many good spawns as we can, because that's what happened in 18 was the big fish, they eventually get old and die. They don't live forever. And so as those die off and you don't have 4 years of good spawn classes behind them, then
there's going to be a gap.
You get a gap in your fishing. So that's what happened. So, but yes, we've had lots of good spawns since like 17. And so, you know, I feel like right now in the system there is 1 million like 10-inch bass.
Oh, wow.
And so we're a couple years from them being keepers. So, Yes, I think like I say, it's going to go up in peak, but I feel like we're on like the bottom part of a peak, right?
Yeah.
And so we've still got 2, 3, 4 years where we'll have a huge population of bass, and that helps things like this place is known for ledge fishing, right? This time of year, and so the bass have to get to a certain size before they'll go out there and group up with schools and be on ledges. And so until they're about 2 pounds, not many of those fish go out and get
Right.
on ledges and school up. So they have to get to kind of that keeper size before you start seeing those numbers out there. But yes, I feel like we're going to have a boom period. We're probably still a few years away from it. But
Okay. Well, that's exciting.
yeah.
So when it comes to, like for example, I just had a family who they chose to do a staycation this year. Her boys love to fish, but they didn't really have any experience. So, when people are coming to Kentucky Lake, they want to try fishing. They want to sort of get that experience of what we're, best known for. How would you suggest them kind of go about? I know that we have fishing guides listed on our website, and we try to have that as a resource as well. But, what does that process, in your opinion, look like to get the best access to a good fishing experience here?
Yeah, I mean, a guide is the easiest way. I will say that. So obviously, not everyone can afford to hire a guide, but
Yeah.
yes, if you can go with a guide, what he does is shortcut your learning. Right.
Okay.
This is what the fish are doing right now.
Yeah.
He can show you 4 or 5 places, but you can run around and find 100 places that are just like that. You know what I mean? And so once he kind of puts you on what the program is at that time, then you can go have a good experience. The thing is, like when people come here and they don't have a boat, right? Well, now you're limited on where you can fish.
Right.
And our fish here, they're not up around the bank very much. Certain months of the year, so like. It starts like in March, they'll start coming and getting on the banks. And so you got like March, April, May, June. And then as the water temps get hot, they're going to move out deeper to be more comfortable. And that's when night fishing, that's why night fishing gets good in the summer, is because the water cools off at night. They'll come back shallow. There's less predation. They have to worry about being up shallow. So the fish get in shallow places again, they get easier to catch.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So.
That made me think, so lake accessibility, when it comes to species of fish, if you are going to try to shoreline fish and kind of in during that time frame, what kind of species would you think would be the easiest to catch for a family?
Yeah, bluegill red ears probably top of the list.
Okay.
Especially because they both move shallow starting end of March. They'll be shallow April, May, June. There's a bunch of bluegills. So bluegills spawn every full moon starting in April. And so like this full moon that came a week ago, a bunch of bluegills came up and got shallow.
That's
so there's a bunch of
wild to me.
bluegills shallow.
Yeah, it's crazy how like the moon and how that affects it. There's so many factors to a fishery and to fishing that I find it all fascinating. I really do. Okay, good deal. So we've talked a little bit about bass. We've talked a little bit about shoreline, bluegill, but I also know you're pretty passionate about crappie fishing. So can you talk a little bit about Kentucky Lake and the crappie fishing here?
For sure, yeah. And that used to be the draw here.
Yeah.
Obviously bass fishing's always been a draw here, but back in the heyday in the 90s,
Yes.
that's celebrities came here, all the fishing pros that had TV shows came here and shot their shows here with the guides. Because the fishing was phenomenal. And so it's the same thing with crappie fishing that we've had with bass fishing. We've had, lulls and boom periods. And it seems like, the crappie didn't get affected by those floods as bad as the bass did. And because, again, it only takes like 3 years for a crappie to get to 10 inches, which is keeper size.
Okay.
So it's not as drastic when you lose year classes. And so, because you've always got a year class coming right behind it. And so, but right now we're in a boom period for crappie. Like crappie fishing was phenomenal this spring. And it was like, even in January, it was incredible.
Oh,
so
wow.
it's been incredible all year.
And do you expect that trend to kind of continue?
Yeah, because there's a million 8-inch crappie in the system right now.
Okay.
And they'll be keepers next year. So, you
Okay.
know what I mean? And
Yeah,
so,
that's exciting.
Yeah, so we have a lot of really good, there's such a huge volume of pound-and-a-half crappie in our system right now. So if you want to just come here and catch a limit of good crappie, you can pretty much do that 12 months out of the year, not a problem.
Wow.
Yeah, so this place that's what is so special and unique about Kentucky Lake. There are you could probably count on one hand the places you can go and catch 2-pound crappie, black crappie, white crappie. You can catch 5 5-pound largemouth, you can catch 5-pound smallmouth, you can catch giant catfish, you can catch tons of big white bass. There's red ear over 2 pounds in this lake. There are almost no fisheries that have that many good fishing opportunities for that many different species.
Yeah, I think that is something that we need to do a better job, just our office, the CBB, really selling that we are
100%.
such a versatile, dynamic, and diverse fishery that not a lot of other places in the country can claim.
Yeah, that's why the calendar was a kind of a passion project
Yes.
for me, was because it's like, I don't think people understand. Like, when I say, like, there's a good bite going on every month, there is a good bite going on every month. It might not be the thing you normally fish for, but there is a good bite every month of the year here, because we have so many different species and opportunities to fish. And that's why I'm so passionate about this place, because you go to Gunnersville, it's not like that. They have good crappie fishing, they have good bass fishing. That's kind of ends there, like.
Yeah.
Because it's getting down. We had the downturn with the flooding and the different species. Well, yeah, the largemouth was probably the most affected fish on the lake, but the smallmouth population flourished during that period. And so now we have a fishery that's full of like 3 to 5 pound smallmouth.
Yeah, I will never. So when we hosted the Bass Pro Tour last year in June, that was such an exciting time for us, just to really, be able to see the pros out there and to catch them, watch them catch the fish like live in real time.
Yep.
I believe it was Adrian Avina. Is that? Yeah. He got up there on stage and he was like, you guys, I think this is about the only place in the country right now where you can catch a 4-pound largemouth in one cast, and then the next cast it'd be a 3.5, 4-pound smallmouth. He was like, he's like, this place is a blast right now. So that, and you kind of are echoing that. So that's really, really exciting for us. So, and I guess the smallmouth population, I always hear people say that, like, they're feisty, like they're more aggressive. Is that considered what you would say a more fun or more exciting catch, or do you just think a big fish is a big fish no matter?
No, the only thing that could compete with the smallmouth, if bluegill got to 5 pounds, that'd be the best fish in the lake, but they don't get that big. So yeah, when you can catch a 5-pound smallmouth, it's hands down the meanest fish there is. So yeah, they jump 10 feet out of the water. That's what people love about it.
Okay.
So it's like kind of a freshwater mini tarpon. They jump and show out and pull real hard. So yeah, no, they are by far one of the funnest fish to catch on the lake.
That's awesome. Great. So, I mentioned the Bass Pro Tour a little bit. So we actually, just recently, they announced their 2027 schedule, and Kentucky Barkley Lakes are going to be the heavy hitters location. So we're excited about that. It's a really small pool of anglers. It's only 30, but we were really excited about the opportunity to be able to host this tournament and showcase the lake, because it's a lot of airtime, it's a lot of broadcast, and so I'm excited to see. I know you said we're kind of a little pre-boom, but I still believe we're going to be able to catch some big fish during that time.
100%. When I say boom, it's so when the lake boomed, like everyone caught 20-pound limits, and everyone caught 5-pound bass. These guys, the 30 guys that come, they'll catch 5-pounders, like, no doubt. Like, and they'll be 20-pound limits, no doubt. Yeah. Because they did a really good job of scheduling. So they're going to show off this lake good, because when they come is a time when the bass are doing a lot of different things. Okay. So a guy can fish his strengths and catch good fish, and they'll catch them a lot of different ways. So, like, it's not one of those times, like when it's ledge fishing, you have to hope you can get on one of the good ledges. When they're coming in May, it'll be a little early for ledge fishing. There'll be some fish out there, but there'll probably still be some fish spawning. There'll be some fish garden fry. There'll be some fish in bushes. There'll be some fish offshore. Like, so they'll get caught up. Yeah, they'll get caught up. That's a good thing too. Like, they'll catch a lot of fish. Like, so. Yeah, I think you're going to see really impressive weights. You'll see really impressive fish. That will be a good event. They're coming at a good time. So,
thank you. That's also music to my ears.
Right.
That we were able to kind of make that. And I will, that event, it's been a really great experience to be able to partner with some of our other CBBs and tourism offices that touch on Barkley and, Kentucky Lake. So we partnered with Callaway County, Lyon County, Catawba, and then Cadiz and Trent County to kind of help pool our resources together so that we could afford to do this tournament. And that was that felt good that we all believed in working together to kind of get this sort of exposure. So shout out to that partnership. It was really, really nice. So
On Kentucky Lake, you'll catch that story. One you'll tell about family and friends. Here and all that surrounds these legendary waters. Legendary waters await Kentucky Lake.
okay, if I had to do a few lightning round questions to kind of wrap this up, let's see. So what is your favorite fish to catch? And I think I know this, but
Red ear.
oh, actually, that is not what I was
Yeah,
gonna
red ear,
guess.
hands down. Yeah. So
Okay.
and they're one of the most nomadic fish on the lake, so they wander around, especially this time of year. Like,
okay.
they don't stay in one place. In the spring, they group up obviously to spawn. And pre-spawn, they'll group up to feed right before the spawn. So you catch them in big groups like in April, May, June. But I mean, yeah, and red ear can get to like 5 pounds. So,
Oh, wow.
Like the world record red ear is 6 pounds, and so.
Okay.
So here, it's very common to catch 2-pound red ear, and so it's basically bluegill fishing, except they're 2-pounders. They're big. They're bigger than crappie. You know what I mean? And so.
Okay.
But yeah, if I could catch those things 12 months out of the year, I'd get rid of all my other
Okay.
It's my favorite. I think they're the coolest fish because like a bluegill here only lives to be like 5 or 6 years old, and then
Okay.
they'll pass away, and that's an interesting. We can get on that topic on another podcast, but a red ear can live to be like 13 or 14 years old. That's why they get so big.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're one of the older fish in the lake.
Yes.
And it's probably all the fish species we hear. It's probably the smallest population of fish we have. So there's less red ear than there is any other fish in the lake.
Okay.
So they're unique. They get big. They pull way harder. They pull harder than a smallmouth does. I mean, if they got to the size of smallmouth, they'd be the meanest fish in the lake. And
Interesting. Okay, so we need to have another episode where we just talk about the life cycles of fish
yeah,
and
so
what that.
I work with like Dr. Flynn at Murray State. He and I have done diet sampling. They've been doing a telemetry tracking study on red ear, so they know all their movements. They're going to release their data this year, so I'll get to talk a lot about that. I've had to keep it
Okay.
under wraps for a while, but yeah, so I work with a biologist because it's a passion thing for me. Panfish is a passion thing for me. Crappie,
Okay.
bluegill, red ear, so I can talk for hours about that stuff.
Okay,
so.
we'll reschedule after this. We'll get that going.
Yep.
Okay, so your favorite month to fish on Kentucky Lake?
Probably April, May. That's a good one. Probably May.
May.
Is probably my favorite. Yeah.
Okay. All
And that's why
right.
I say heavy hitters will come in May.
It's gonna be exciting.
The lake is fun in May. April's really fun. April's a little more volatile with weather.
Yes.
That's like it could be windy every day
Yes.
in April. That gets old.
Yep.
This place is the ocean when the wind's blowing hard.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing. Like I would say April, but it's like there's so much volatility in April.
Yeah.
Like
A lot of question marks
May,
when it comes to
it
weather.
seems to calm down a lot, and fishing's really good. So
Yeah.
I like May.
Okay.
That's my favorite month.
Good deal. Sunrise or sunset to fish?
Gosh, that's a good one. Probably I enjoy sunrise, but I go more at sunset
Sunset,
because
okay.
Just because of work, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
More convenient. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Little easier to work around.
Right.
Okay, so do you prefer offshore or shallow fishing?
I'd rather shallow fish. I grew up on the Arkansas River, so
Okay.
I'm a river rat. Yeah, I would rather. I have an aluminum boat now because I fish shallow more than I fish deep. So
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Is there a lure that you could fish all year long?
well, I will say
That's probably species specific.
Well, it's funny you say that. So I have been fishing a lure, the trout magnet. That's like one of the original trout lures. It's bar none one of the best lures for bluegill and red ear. It's also my main lure for crappie now. And so
Okay.
the best day I've had smallmouth fishing this year was everything was caught on a trout magnet. I just put a video up on YouTube about that where I caught like a 20-pound limit on a bait that's this big.
Okay.
So yeah, trout magnet is probably my lure that I throw more than anything because it catches everything. So.
Okay.
And I think that has a lot to do with probably forward-facing sonar, where now that we can throw right on a fish, you throw something small that's natural, they pretty much
They
never,
love it.
Yeah,
They're like,
they
"Yummy."
don't turn their head away from it. Right?
No.
So,
Yeah. So what's the biggest fish you've caught on Kentucky Lake?
I've caught a 50-pound catfish by hand. That's probably the biggest one I've caught. I've caught some stripers over 20 pounds.
Okay.
But yeah, I've caught a 50-pound flathead with my hand. noodling.
You are
If that
brave.
counts.
You are brave, sir. I will count it, but you would never catch me doing it. That is for sure.
You should go with us sometime and at least watch it being done.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will do that. I will watch from the boat.
We won't make you stick your hand in a hole.
What's one local restaurant that you highly recommend after an angler's been on the water all day?
Oh, Fast Eddie's. If you can get in there. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
We did go the other day. It was an hour long
And I'm
wait. I was
biased.
like, oh.
Andy's one of my best friends. So, but no, I love Fast. I ate there last night. So yeah.
Seriously,
and
though,
it was
their
like,
fried fish is phenomenal.
Yeah, steaks are the best
Yes.
in the area. Like, yeah, and it's I mean, you have to be prepared. It was standing room only in there last night on a Thursday. So that's what you have to deal with. But
But it's good
it's
food.
that way because
and it's worth
everybody
the
knows
wait.
how good it is. So.
All right. What's one overlooked species everyone could catch here?
Bluegill, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, like just because they're so prevalent, and that's one of the species that boomed when we had the downturn. So used to you could catch 7 and 8 inches here. 10 inches kind of the magic number for bluegill. People consider them a trophy if they get to 10 inches. Now there's quite a few 10 inches in our system. There's not been in years past. So there's a million 9-inch fish in the system. So yeah, bluegill fishing it's easy to get started in. Once you kind of understand the areas to look for, you can run around and catch them everywhere. Like you can still catch them if you're here staying at a resort. You can get on a bank probably right there by your marina.
Okay.
Go
Yeah.
down the bank with a little lure like a trout magnet and catch
Have
them.
an experience.
Yep.
You can catch them. Yep. Good deal. Okay. Let's see. All right. Fill in the blank. Kentucky Lake is.
I think it's the best fishery of the whole TPA
Okay.
because it has so many species that you can catch. It can handle the most anglers too.
Yes.
Because it's the biggest of all the fisheries.
Yeah.
And so you bring a tournament here that has 200 boats. This is the best place to fish because they can get in so many places.
Yeah.
You go to a place like Pickwick, there's not 25 good places when they go offshore. That's hard to put 200 boats when there's only 25 good places.
Yeah.
And so yeah, this place is like back in the boom period when the lake's really good and ledge fishing's really strong. There's 200 places they get where the schools will group up and you can go catch them. So it makes for a really good fishery, especially for tournaments.
Okay. So I know very early in the beginning of this, you said that you kind of wanted to get out and do your own thing. So, I mean, Jason, for people who want to follow you and hear your content, listen to you talk, where can they go find that information for you?
Yeah, the main place I'm doing stuff now, I have a newsletter. But you can go read everything. I put it out there for free on Substack. So Current Fish at Substack. If you just look that up, you can find it. I think it's currentfish.substack.com is the actual web address. I have a YouTube channel. It's also Current Fish.
Okay.
I have had to wait. I've had a non-compete with Wired for 2 years. That just went out this year, so I've had to wait to kind of get all this going. But so now I'm ramping all that up. I have like 10 videos in the queue right now that are releasing every few days.
And so the videos that you do, I mean, they really are meant to be just educational. And I think a lot of it is like from POV, like your point of view, right? So you wear the camera.
Yeah, you're watching me fish. I'm explaining why I'm fishing this area. And most of the videos are going to be on Kentucky Lake. So,
okay.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Well, we're really excited to continue our partnership. Thank you so much for everything that you have done for us and just for this fishery in general. You are such a gigantic cheerleader for this fishery.
Yeah, I am passionate about it.
Yes.
I love this place, and I want more people to experience how good it is, so they'll fall in love with it.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that. And it sounds like we need to have another episode of Real Talk with you so we could talk life cycle. We didn't even get to talk about the new, the announcement with Kentucky Fish and Wildlife and the genetic sort of development that they've had. So we may want to have a part 2.
Well, yeah, we need to bring Adam in. I consider Adam a friend. I think we are blessed to have him.
We are lucky.
Not only in our area, but the state of Kentucky is blessed to have him too. And that guy I've been around fisheries people for 30 years.
Yeah.
He is the best person I've ever been around in
Yeah.
fisheries. And because he earnestly will listen to fishermen and he wants to hear your opinion. Even if he doesn't agree with it, he wants to have your opinion. He wants your input. He sends me emails like once a month asking me questions. Hey, we're going to drop structure in the lake.
Yeah.
Where would it be best in your opinion?
Oh, that's
So
great.
he doesn't operate in a vacuum, which has always been my experience with fisheries people.
Yeah.
They have degrees, they're scientists, they they pretty much think they know everything.
Yeah.
Adam's not, he's an open book. He will answer your questions. He will take your input.
Yeah.
He's great. I
He's
think
always,
highly of
sometimes
him.
I'll email him with the most random things like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I want to tag 2,500 fish. And he was
Yeah.
like, oh, you could.
Yes.
But he was like, Kentucky Lake's really big.
Yeah, yeah,
So we were thinking about doing some, like a derby, you know, where if you fished for a tag fish, you could
Yeah.
win money and that sort of thing. So, but you know, we put it on the back burner for now. But
Yeah.
he's always good about really hearing out my crazy ideas for someone who has no idea about fishing, really, and then giving me a very thoughtful, sort of informative answer of why it will or will not work. So
Sure.
I am very appreciative, and he'd be a great guest. So maybe we can have you guys back on to kind of dig a little bit deeper into the biology of
For
the
sure.
fishery.
I think what they're doing is amazing. It is. I think that's the future of fisheries management. What they're trying to do.
Yeah.
So.
Well, good. That's exciting. All right. Well, thank you. We really appreciate your time today.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah.
We appreciate everyone for tuning in to the Ripple Effect. Continue to kind of follow here for more information as we just really hear the stories and learn all about Kentucky Lake and what we've got to offer here. So until next time.